Business and the Executive Director of the Leadership Center and the Global Center, Co-Executive Director for the Global Center for Healthcare Education. I'm so delighted that you are here with us on this chilly February morning. We are delighted to have Kimberly Miller with us. She is an esteemed leader with 25 years of experience in the social service industry in Ohio. With hands-on direct care experience, Kim has firsthand insight into the challenges that the sector faces daily. Over the past 2 decades, not 20, over the past 2 decades, Kim has consistently demonstrated outstanding leadership and a deep commitment to driving positive change, maximizing the use of strengths in leadership. Kimberly's extensive background, including over 20 years in leadership roles, is a testament to her dedication and expertise in the industry. Kimberly worked at the Buckeye Ranch previously as the Executive Vice President of Strategy and Business Development to transform organizational strategies to deliver quality services and retain our talented workforce. Kimberly is currently the Chief Operating Officer of Lutheran Social Services of Central Ohio, where she works with over 720 employees to create a culture of compassion, inclusion, integrity, and excellence. Leveraging a robust background in nonprofit leadership, Kimberly focuses on driving scalable growth and fostering a value driven culture that is anchored in data driven decision making. We're so delighted to have Kimberly with us on this morning. And if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and then we will ask them accordingly. We're now in your hands, Kimberly.
Thank you, Dr. Bowen. Hello, everyone. It's great to see your names, and I definitely recognize a few people, my former colleagues. So thank you for joining. I think that you are going to really enjoy this presentation today about how to maximize your strengths. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, here we go. So I want to thank everyone for attending today. I want to thank both Jenny Cook and Dr. Bowen with the Franklin University Leadership Center for giving me this opportunity to present on this really important topic about maximizing your strengths. I also want to thank the late Dr. Alex Heckman, who was my professor and mentor while I obtained my master's in public administration at Franklin University. He guided me as a professional in the field and inspired me to continue my relationship with the university even after I obtained my master's. I also want to acknowledge Dr. Pam Scott at the Buckeye Ranch, who has taught me so much about utilizing my strengths in both my work and professional career, in my personal career. She taught me not only how to use my strengths, but how to be a strength-based leader. I am extremely passionate about this work. I am blessed to be able to give this presentation today. My wish for each of you is that you'll learn your own strengths and use them every day. And I promise that your life quality will increase if you fully engage in being strength-based. Thank you, Dr. Bowen, for introducing me. I have had the privilege to work with some great leaders over my career. They've given me opportunities to use my strengths to build programs and to serve the missions of the organization. As you can see, I've worked in the social service sector in Central Ohio for the last 25 years. Throughout this presentation, you'll hear examples of how I use my strengths in each phase of my career. And my hope is you can relate to this presentation, whether you are a direct care worker, a new manager, a veteran leader, or a stay-at-home parent. The objectives of this presentation is to really for you to understand what is a strength, to identify your own strengths. We want to understand the research and learn the benefits of a strength-based environment. I'm going to give you 7 ways to identify your own strengths. And then together, we're going to imagine how to build a strength-based environment. And finally, we're going to have some fun with this. This is your own professional development learning time. I'm so happy that you chose an hour with me to be able to dive deep into some professional development. So we're going to have fun with it too. Before I get started, I do want to state a disclaimer though. I am in no way representing a certain product or organization. However, you will clearly see throughout this presentation that I lean towards using research and materials from Gallup. They have a very robust strength-based program that I have invested a lot of my time and energy into. So you're going to see that sprinkled throughout this presentation. However, there are many strength-based programs out there. So I have tried to make this presentation a little bit more general, so you don't have to completely go with Gallup, but you'll see that sprinkled throughout the presentation. Okay, let's get started. Let's have fun. So I thought this was a perfect picture for today, right? Like it's so cold outside and I just want to be here because we're going to do a visualization exercise. With this exercise, you can close your eyes or you can stare at this beautiful picture. But what I want us to do is just to be in this moment for a second. So I want us to all take a deep breath. It's a Tuesday. It's at 11 o'clock. We're in the middle of our workday, and I think it's really important to ground us in this work. So let's go ahead and just take one deep breath in and out. Let's take another deep breath. And then let's take another deep breath in and out. Okay. Now that we are calm, I want you to think about a time that you are really proud of. A time where you just felt really proud of yourself that you'd accomplished something. I want you to think about that feeling that you had. I want you to also think about when you visualize this experience, what strength were you using? What specific strength were you using when you were in that moment? Was it perseverance? Was it analytical? Was it project management? Was it relationships? So if you closed your eyes, go ahead and open your eyes. I want you to write down what you just visualized and what that strength was. We're going to revisit that in a couple minutes when we start talking about our strengths. What if I told you the key to success is as easy as identifying and building on your strengths and the strengths of others? What if I told you that the key to success is already with you? We all have innate strengths and qualities that you're born with. They can include the color of your eyes, your hair color, how tall you are. They can include your skin tone. They also can include your temperament. Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Are you calm? Are you an anxious person? These are all innate strengths that we have within ourselves. I also believe that we have innate qualities that naturally guide us. And this is what I'm talking about with our strengths. We have something inside of ourselves that we're born with that that are our strengths, our innate strengths. Early in my career, I quickly realized that being positive got me a lot further in life. With developing relationships with new colleagues, trying to engage a family that's dealing with really hard things, I got a better response when I looked at things half full and not half empty. I realized there were so many benefits when you look at things with the glass half full. Being optimistic and positive can reduce stress and anxiety. It also can lead to better emotional resilience in the faces of challenges. Seeing the glass half full can also has tends to be more supportive, encouraging, and compassionate. People tend to gravitate towards positive people. You also are more likely to find creative solutions to problems when you see things half full. You develop a mindset to see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. You have an increased motivation. Um, Being positive keeps you focused on progress rather than setbacks. Being positive and seeing the glass half full can really have some strong physical health benefits. It can lower your stress-related hormones, which which allows you to have better physical health and a stronger immune system. We also know that we have higher success rates when we are more positive. Being optimistic is associated with higher levels of persistence. It shows that there's a willingness to take a calculated risk, and overcome obstacles. And overall, having the glass half full makes people feel fulfilled, content, and satisfied with your life. So this is where I want to dive into your strengths, because we know that there is a lot of research around being strength-based and using your own innate strengths for your life, whether that's professional or personal. And this is where Gallup comes in, because I really like their definition of what is a strength. It's the innate traits and abilities people use to achieve their goals, relate to others, and complete their work. It's just in you. It's an ability that you do really well with. But there's also some other definitions. Some other definitions are: a strength is an activity that makes you feel strong. It's part of your brain that is more efficient than other parts. Another definition is a combination of talent, skills, and knowledge that are consistently and productively applied to achieve a desired result. And my final definition of a strength is it's a particular way of processing information that your brain is good at. There is so much power in strengths, personally and professionally. But personally, what it does is it boosts positive emotions. It really increases your energy. It allows you to feel well rested. Using your strengths makes you happy. I mean, who doesn't want to be happy, right? It allows you to smile and to laugh a lot. It allows you to learn something new. Using your strengths, you're respected and you have an increased confidence. Who doesn't want to feel those feelings, right? I know I do every day. We also know that people who focus on using their strengths are 3 times as likely to report having an excellent quality of life. People who focus on using their strengths are also 6 times as likely to be engaged in their job. That is huge. So we have the power of strengths in the workplace. We really want to learn how to use strengths in the workplace. And I'm going to go over how we're going to identify your own strengths and how we're going to build these strengths in your workplace. But building employee strengths is far more effective approach to improving performance than trying to improve weaknesses. That is a given fact. That is research by Gallup, that if you put more energy into improving performance by using someone's strengths, that their performance will improve at a higher rate than if we try to concentrate on weaknesses. I love this quote by Gallup. It says, "There is no more effective way to empower people than to see each other in terms of their strengths." Think about that. If you want a way to empower the people that you love, people that you work with, get to know their strengths. You're going to develop a really good relationship if you concentrate on strengths. I promise you that. So, we're going to dive into ways we can identify strengths. Everyone's probably wondering, well, what are my strengths? And so, we're going to go over 7 different ways that you can learn what your strengths are. They're pretty easy, but it's going to require you to take some time to get to know yourself. That's the first thing that is so important, is that if you don't learn your own strengths first, it's really hard to see strengths in other people. And how often do we take time to get to know ourselves? I mean, not very often. So it's going to require some self reflection. It's going to require you to have some real conversations with people that you trust. And it's going to require you to reflect on past experiences. So let's get into that. Self reflection. Wow. I mean, we all want to do it, right? Do we have the time to do it? Sometimes we don't. It's an art to accomplish. You have to set time aside to do some self reflection. Not many of us self reflects because we're so busy with our schedules and all the things that are coming at us at a regular basis. We know that as a society, we send 12.5 billion emails on an hourly basis. We are busy, busy people. And busy people doesn't equal time to self reflect. So you might need to schedule it. Schedule some time where you're going to self reflect. Turn off all those distractions. Start a journal. Start carrying a notebook around when you start to observe things about yourself. And I want you to ask yourself the following questions. What activities come natural to you? What activities energize you? What drains you? Reflect on those moments when you felt proud of yourself. What did you do? Who were you with? And what strength were you using? We're going to come back to that at the end of the presentation. I want to hear what you visualized. That visualization exercise took about 4 minutes, and it could have taught you something really important. If you can take 4 minutes every day to self-reflect on what your strengths are, on what energizes you, what drains you, I promise, are going to be in a lot better place in your personal and professional life. The other thing you want to do is seek feedback from people that you know and trust. You want to ask colleagues, friends, mentors, even your family what they think your strengths are. They're going to know things that maybe you haven't recognized in yourself. They're going to tell you, hey, mom, dad, I think you do a really good job in this area. Your friends are going to tell you something a little different than your colleagues, but get that feedback. It's really important. And then look for common patterns in their responses. What are the themes you are hearing? Is there that golden thread theme of, wow, everyone keeps telling me I'm really good at this? Well, if someone's telling you that and it's a theme, then that is going to be one of your strengths, just so you know. So make sure you write that down. That's really, really important. The other thing we want to do to build, to identify your strengths is to analyze past successes. We did that in that visualization exercise. But I want you to dive a little deeper when you can do some self reflection. Think about times when you achieved something really significant. Identify skills, traits, or behaviors that contributed to that significant event to your success. Was it winning that basketball game or volleyball game in high school? How did you do it? Did you have perseverance? Did you use data to beat your opponent? Hey, that's great. What about landing one of your dream jobs? How'd you do it? Did you use your connections? Did you use the people? Did you research? Asking yourself these questions is going to lead to what your innate strengths are because you automatically pull on those. Um, you can get an assessment, right? So I would say that there are a lot of tools out there available to get some structured insights. One tool that we used at the Buckeye Ranch where I worked was the Strength Finders tool through Clifton Strengths through Gallup. And I completed my first assessment in 2016. And when I got those results, it was the first time that I was able to put a name and a definition to my strengths. It was so powerful because it allowed me to own those strengths as mine. On the slide, you will see what my top 5 strengths are. And for me, I always knew that I had this brain, strategic brain, right? And I knew sometimes people didn't get me because I was a little bit too far out there. But when I read about what Gallup considers strategic, I felt like, yes, that is exactly what I'm trying to do in some situations is to be strategic. And it allowed me to understand and to call that something. It allowed it to be a strength and not a weakness because at times my strategic strength I felt was a weakness because people didn't understand what I was saying at times. But now that I knew what I'm trying to be is strategic, it allowed me to articulate a little better and to really claim it as my own. So again, I don't want to endorse any kind of assessment, but I do think after you get to have some self-reflection and you ask people what they think your strengths are, I think an assessment is an important step. There is an assessment out there. It's called the VIA Character Strength Survey. I had just heard about this when I was doing research for this presentation, and it's a free assessment. The Strength Finders, you do have to pay a fee for it. It's not huge. But the Character Strength Survey is free. And I took it because I wanted to make sure I was giving you a tool that was a good tool and was valid. And I really enjoyed doing it. So with the Clifton Strengths Finder and then this Character Strength Survey, those are tools that you can use, but you can also use like personality tests. Many of you have had to take it for, school or through an employment. And those are indicators on what your strengths are as well. So I do think an assessment is an important step. I don't know if it's the first step. I think you have to do some self-reflection. And what the assessment does, it just solidifies a name and a definition for you, which for me was really powerful, to where I was at in my leadership. You can do to try to figure out what your strengths are and to build your strengths is to observe what others rely on you for. What do people frequently ask you help for? To, ask you to help them with? What kinds of problems do they trust you to solve? Are you a person that people are always asking about technology? Are you a person that people ask relationship advice? Think about those things that why people come to you. And that's going to lead for you to identify what those strengths are. Another way to identify strengths is to notice what you enjoy. I love this little sign. I actually have it hanging in my porch. It says, enjoy the little things in life, for someday you'll realize they were the big things. So, really recognize what you do. Strengths often align with what you love doing, personally and professionally. Pay attention to activities where you experience losing track of time because you're so engaged. One example I'm going to give, and there are going to be a couple of people on the phone call that are going to laugh, but I love to puzzle. And I never knew why. I just know that I love I see a puzzle and I get so excited and I just want to put it all together, right? Like that excites me. I lose time when I work on a puzzle. And when I think about my Clifton strengths, one of them is an arranger. Well, I love to organize and arrange things in certain ways, hence puzzling. My love for puzzles is really a strength that I can have interest transcend into my work. I love to project manage very large projects, organizational projects. To me, that's a really big puzzle. Things have to align up a certain way. You got to put certain pieces in before you put other pieces in to make sure it works. Can you see how excited I am talking about puzzling? Because that's a strength of mine, and arranger is a strength of mine. I get energy from strategizing around where to start, whether it's a puzzle or an organizational strategy. I get energy from pushing forward because I want to succeed finishing that puzzle. I want to accomplish what that organizational outcome is. And that gives me the strength to do that. So, really think about what are the things you enjoy. I know that people have a strength of they love to learn. One thing they probably do is read a lot of books, read a lot of research. Okay. So think about in your personal life, what is it you like to do and see how that can transcend into your professional career. And finally, we want to compare our strengths to what our job is. I think that's a natural thing to do. We want to be happy in our professional and our personal lives. And once you understand what your strengths are, align those strengths with your career or life aspirations. Leverage the strengths to create more opportunities for yourself. Once you learn what your strengths are, sign up for projects, committees that help build those strengths to get you around people that are going to help understand what your strengths are. So, we just went over how important it is to understand your own strengths. And I truly believe that that is the start to really diving into using strengths for a more productive life, whether that's work or professional. And what I advise you to do is to spend about 3 months just getting to know your own strengths, observing, watching people, asking people feedback, maybe taking an assessment. And you're going to start feeling a little different. You're going to start feeling more energized. You're going to want to gravitate towards those things once you understand what those strengths are. I love this slide because so often in our work as leaders and as workers, we want to fix our weaknesses. And the reality is that if you maximize your strengths, you don't need to fix your weaknesses. You need to make sure that you are maximizing your strengths the best way. And those weaknesses won't really matter because once you know your strengths and you start engaging in things that are strength based, you're going to be a lot happier. Now, that does not say that there are things in your job or in your life you are not, are some of your weaknesses. Um, but if you try to reduce those activities or look at your strengths in a different way, those activities will feel a little bit more different. And so oftentimes, when people get their Clifton Strengths Assessment, I just did it with my direct reports at Lutheran Social Services. We did the report that's called your top five, and they said, "Well, you didn't give me the whole assessment." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" They're like, "Well, there's 34 strengths. You only gave me the report only has the top five." I said, "Because that's all that matters right now. You have to get to know your top five. Why do you want to concentrate on your lower five? That's not going to get you anywhere." Um, and so it's really important that you maximize those strengths, whether it's the top five. I did that other character assessment, and I think it gave me a top 10, which, by the way, were very similar to my Clifton strengths. So that made me happy. But you know, it's a mind shift that you have to do when we're so used to looking at our weaknesses and flipping that around, flipping having the glass half full instead of half empty is going to really make a difference every day in your life. So I want to transition a little bit. We've talked about how to identify your own strengths and ways you can find your own strengths by doing some self reflection, by doing an assessment, by talking to people you care about. But after we spend about 3 months really getting to know yourself, we want to take this work and take it into whether it's our family, whether it's our group of friends, or whether it's our coworkers. And we want to start saying, wow, what are their strengths? I love this quote because it says to build a strong team, you must see someone else's strength as a complement to your weakness, not as a threat to your position or authority. You need to see your teammates. And when I use the word teammates, that could be your family, right? That could be your friends. That could be literally your colleagues. You really want to make sure that someone else's strengths are a complement to you and to your weaknesses because they're going to help you in whatever that project is, whatever that life goal is. Don't see it as a threat to your position or your authority. See it as an advantage. Again, glass half full. So how do you build a strength-based environment? It's not easy, right? You have to have a different mindset, but you will get that mindset if you really understand your own individual strengths. Understanding your own individual strengths and understanding how it makes you physically feel different. It makes you have more energy. It makes you 6 times more engaged in your work. You're going to see the benefits and you're going to say, okay, how can I make this better? So once you internally understand what your strengths are, you want to build a strength-based environment. And again, Building a strength-based environment can happen at your house. It can happen with your friend group. It can happen in your work environment. So I want you to really think about this environment as not just professional, but personal as well. So we're going to go over about 6 different ways to build a strength-based environment. The key is identifying strengths, right? um, we want to make sure that you know your own strengths and share those strengths with each other. It leads to more collaboration and efficient work environment or home life. Okay. So you need to get to know your own strengths, but share them. Let people know, hey, by the way, I'm an arranger. I want to puzzle and I want to project manage. Okay, well then if people know that, they're going to then want to puzzle with you or they're going to want to do they're going to say, "Hey, maybe you can lead this project." And then that's going to make me happy because that's all I love to do, right? So share your strengths. Um, research indicates that actively sharing your strengths with one another can significantly boost individual well-being, team cohesion, and overall performance. This all leads to job satisfaction. This all leads to life satisfaction. The other way to build a strength-based environment is to leverage strengths for enhanced productivity. If you're doing something that is an innate straight, you're going to like your job better, right? Um, I'm not going to do this exercise because frankly, I can't see anyone right here, but I want you to, we're going to do another visualization exercise real quick. But there's not a fancy, there's not a fancy beach to show you, but there is a statement. And the statement is, I will learn my strengths. If you have a pen or a pencil, pick up a pen or a pencil right now and write down, I will learn my strengths, but I want you to write it with your less dominant hand. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that. I actually should give you a few minutes because with your less dominant hand, it takes a lot longer. Um, Probably doesn't feel real good, does it? um, so when I ask someone to do something that's not their strength, it feels like writing with your non-dominant hand. As a manager and as a mom and as a friend and as a wife, I want to ask people to do things that is within their strengths. I want them to feel like they have the confidence to do the job. So when I ask somebody to do something and it's not their strength, it feels like writing with your non-dominant hand. And that doesn't feel real good, in my opinion. So we want to make sure that we leverage strengths to enhance productivity with our teammates, our partners, our kids, in any way we can. The third way is to create a strength-based culture, and this is not easy. This is getting buy-in from everyone. But who wants to work in an environment where 51% of employees say they're actively looking for new jobs or watching openings? I don't. I want to work with employees that are invested in our mission. I want to work with employees that want to problem solve, that are happy, that have fun at work, right? Like, I mean, come on, we need to have a lot of fun at work. So, creating a strength based culture is really about people understanding the importance of being strength based, of using your strengths in the best way to get the job performance done, not competing with each other, rather looking at each other like we're partners in this. We're not in competition. That's the environment I want to work in. And that is how you create a strength-based culture. Now, to actually create a strength-based culture will take another hour presentation, and I definitely would have to pull in some of my colleagues for that because we did that at our old job, and it takes years. It takes years. It takes pure perseverance. It takes a mindset of your leaders. And sometimes it's hard to control everyone else, but you can control yourself, right? And you can control, how you feel at work. And so creating a strength-based culture, think about maybe it's really hard to create a strength-based organization, but can you create a strength-based team? Can you create a strength-based family? Can you create a strength-based friend group? Yes, you can. You can do that. The next way to build a strength-based environment is to apply practical application of strengths. So provide actionable steps. If you know your colleague is really, really good at learning, one of their strengths is learning, maybe you ask them to research new best practice ideas. Oh my gosh, they would love that. A learner would love that, right? If you have somebody whose strength is organization, ask them to organize. A lot of people who like to organize events, likes to organize the office. There's a lot of ways you can apply practical application to your strengths once you know um, what the strengths are of your colleagues, of your children, of your partner, of your friends. Um, I wasn't really planning on diving into this, but I feel like I've been married for 24 years, and it sounds really bad, but I feel like since 2016, I realized like the real strengths of my husband. And he has a lot of really great strengths, and I don't think I was utilizing them earlier in my motherhood and in my career. And now that we're leveraging our strengths as a family, um, he does what he does really well and good, and I do what I do well. We even transcend that into our parenting. Um, my husband is definitely more structured than I am. And I'm a little bit more relational and can go with the flow. So when one of my sons are having a hard time, it's very easy for me to come in and to comfort them. But when one of my sons really needs a kick in the butt, I would say, my husband is a lot better for that because he can come in and he can really say, how are we going to get this done? Let's write out some goals. And so those are ways that you can really leverage and apply practical application to your strengths. We want to make sure that we are fostering team collaboration. That's another really great way to build a strength-based environment. I've talked about this a lot, but I can't say this enough. Teaming, collaboration, partnering on projects, it will get you better results. You know, brainstorming with your team on things. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we wanted to take an idea into a team and brainstorming, and the product we got out of that was so much better than the product than if I would have just said, this is what we're doing. There's just a lot of ways to collaborate with your strengths that's going to provide a better product. And so use your teammates' strengths to create better projects, presentations, a communication plan. If you have someone's strength that is communication, like use them to communicate. That they love to do that. Um, and they're going to be happier for that, right? And then finally, building personal and professional growth around strengths. So invest in yourself, invest in your team, immerse yourself in your strengths. Some things that I have done that has been really helpful is I've signed up for emails through Gallup. They send out weekly insight reports and weekly research about how important it is to keep your strengths in the front of your mind. And I use those not only in my career, but I use them at home too. I take those tips and I use them with my 18-year-old and my 22-year-old. So make sure that you're building personal and professional growth with using strengths. Um, I do know that Clifton Strength Finders has a lot of activities and things you can do to build that within your team. I also know that this other resource I'm going to give you also has a whole section of resources on how to get to know the strengths of your team members as well. So in conclusion, I want to wrap up to say, take time to invest in yourself, get to know what you're good at. The first start is that you attended this presentation. You invested in yourself in the last 50 minutes to learn a new skill, to understand the benefits of strengths. So continue to invest in yourself. Take another hour and really get to know what your strengths are. And take the next 3 months to reflect on your strengths. Don't rush and get an assessment right away. I think everyone wants to do that, but wait a little bit. Talk to people, ask them what they think your strengths are. And then I do think at some point you should take an assessment. For me, the assessment was really powerful because it put a name and a definition to what my strengths were. And I was able to claim them, which was really powerful. Get to know your partner's strengths and appreciate those strengths. You can use this at home too. This is why I love strengths. This is not only professional, it's personal. And I hope I've driven that point home to you. And then one thing you can do is pick one colleague and tell them why you appreciate one of their strengths. I think that's really important. I think that, starting those conversations is going to open up a whole new world for you in your relationships as well. So the next page is really about resources. So this first resource is the Character Strength Survey and Character Reports. This is free. It took me about, I would say 15 minutes to do. And then I spent probably another hour on the website just looking at all the fun activities. I wanted to make sure I vetted it before I gave this resource out. So it's a really great resource. The next resource is Gallup. Gallup in general just has really great workplace consulting and global research. Gallup is a research institute. That's where it originated from. And they use their Clifton Strengths Assessment to inform research around workplace. So Gallup has just a lot of great articles, a lot of great resources. And then, of course, the third link is your Clifton Strengths Assessment. This is what I personally have dove into over the last 8 years, and it has, I think, changed the way I've led. It's changed the way I've parented, and it has changed the way, my family has really thrived from this. And so I wanted to give you these resources. And then finally, before I can see your faces, in a month, I am going to do another presentation on March 11th at 11 a.m. And it's going to be about strategic organizational communication. So if you loved this presentation and you want to keep working with me or seeing what else I do, I'm going to dive into how to align strategic organizational communications around your organizational values and missions and strategic planning. So a little bit more, I would say technical, right, than strengths. I think strengths is something that you can use in all domains of life. So this presentation won't be like that, but would love to have you join. So I'm going to stop sharing because we have 8 minutes left, I believe.
Yes. Thanks, Kim. We do have a question in the chat.
Yeah.
How often do you reevaluate your strengths? I have done
Well, that's a
strength.
really good.
Yeah,
Yep,
it says
that's a really
I've
good
done
question.
Strength Finder several times, but I often wonder if there is a good cadence for checking in.
So I have never redone it, to be honest with you. I have felt really comfortable with my strengths. I am not a strengths coach, but I do know there's a strengths coach on on this this presentation right now. My understanding is that your top 10 are really your innate strengths, and they can move around a little bit depending on like circumstances and those kind of things. So I have not felt the need to redo my strengths. What is ironic is I did do that other survey and it aligned very much with my Clifton. So I really just dove into those strengths and have really claimed them. So, I think if you have a major life event or you start a new job and you want to reassess, I don't think that can hurt at all.
Thank you. Teresa, I hope that answered your question. I also put all of your resources, Kim, in the chat for anyone who
Oh,
is
thank
interested.
you.
Just clicking on the links. I think I got them correct, but we'll make sure
Okay.
that is correct as well. But thank you so much. One of the things that really resonated with me was strengths often align with what you like to do, both personally and professionally. I completely agree with you. I also am on that organizational realm of things. And so, when you said doing puzzles, I love doing puzzles as well. So it is one of
Yep.
those things where you don't realize that, that is a strength that you have until you think about it wholly.
Right.
But understanding the strengths around you, I also resonated with me, understanding those strengths of those around you, your personal and professional life. I loved your example of your husband having one strength and you having the other. So that was really neat. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Anybody?
good.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to having you as part of our pool series. That is Powerful, Unmistakable Legacy Leaders. It revolves around our month of March, which is Women's History Month. And so we're super excited to have you as one of our speakers. The first one is on March 4th as well. And you can get more information on our website, and I can put that in the chat as well. But thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. And thank you to everyone who participated, and have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. I wasn't sure if Valencia was going to be able to make it back in or not. So I was like, well, she had to drive down to campus. And so I wasn't sure if she was coming back in or if not. So.
I'm
Oh, there you are.
job, Jenny. Yep, you did great. You did great. I got down here right when she was ending.
All right.
You did a great job. I appreciate it.
No, I love it. Great.
Yeah, it's a little different in that it's not a very specific technical skill, but I sort of wanted everyone to know that strengths is bigger than just your professional. So hopefully the angle I took was good.
Yeah.
You did good. I like the examples, and the activities were great as well. So and thanks for the plug. I was glad that you did that, because I was going to, okay, let's make sure we remember to add it in at your B, but you did a great job adding that about the pool. And so it was a good thing. Good.
Well,
Are there any questions for us? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask if you, think about if there's any feedback that I could do better in March. So you don't have to give me feedback now, but if you guys want to talk, and I'm always looking to try to get better with my presentation skills. So would love to hear any kind of feedback you might have.
I loved your pace.